Good evening. This is CTV News for Wednesday, May 20th. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Rochelle Metzger. Thank you for joining us tonight. A group of Prince George's business leaders has come up with an alternate plan to the one proposed by County Executive Rashern Baker. The Chamber of Commerce says the solution to improving public education without overtaxing citizens is to cut Baker's 15-cent tax hike by about half. The group calculates that raising taxes by 7.8% would generate about $64 million for the school district. Former council member Jim Eastep is president of the Prince George's Business Roundtable. He says the chamber's plan won't raise enough revenue.
Our portion of our local funding that goes to education is the lowest in the metropolitan region. We need to change that. We need to go from 23rd out of 24 to the top 10. We need to have a 90% graduation rate or 100% rather than the 78% that we have today. So I think what the executive has proposed is the right action. If we take it now, our property values are actually going to increase. They're going to get better. And at some point, I think we'll even...
In response to the chamber's proposal, Baker released a statement calling this a critical time for children and schools, adding, quote, "Now it is up to the council, not the Chamber of Commerce, to finalize a budget that ensures this county is in the best financial position to serve its constituents today and for years to come."
And shifting lanes here. It's part of a driving test that many of us dread. We're talking about parallel parking. Well, now you don't have to do it anymore. The Maryland Vehicle Administration has decided to drop the requirement from the test. CTV's Sonia Shrivastava has more.
Some make it look easy, but in real life, trying to squeeze in between two cars can not only test your skills, but your patience as well. 20-year-old Johnson at Bishop has had her learning permit for a while now, and she says she's ready to get her license so she can hit the road. Bishop spent nearly 2 hours a day practicing her parallel parking skills. So imagine her reaction when we told her that the MVA has decided to drop the requirement.
You didn't know about it?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
No. How, like, are you mad or because you are, I'm sure you practice that, or are you happy?
I mean, it's a little bit of both.
How much time did you actually spend parallel parking, like practicing?
Hours.
Now, although folks will not be tested on parallel parking, driving schools will still be required to teach it.
Corey Smith is the owner of A-List Driving Academy and has been an instructor for the last 8 years. He says most of his students get tied up with parallel parking.
I've had a kid that goes to Johns Hopkins and he got hung up on it 3 times. So he could drive out on the road, he could tell me about all the signs, he knew what he was looking at, but just the panic of I have to do this, that makes them blank out.
MVA spokesperson Bill Young says there are other skills like backing and a 2-point reverse turn combined with on-road portions of the test that are enough to see if an individual can operate the vehicle.
Parallel parking is not really used that much here in Maryland anyway, so it's really not needed on the test.
The good part is, yes, more people are going to pass the test. The bad part, it's going to be a little time to where we can see if there's still safe drivers passing the test, or is that changing that factor?
As for Bishop, well, she's got her license, and now she will be the one to drive her aunt home.
Are you relieved?
Yes.
So watch out, DC MVA drivers.
In Largo, Sonia Shrivastava for CTV News.
Thanks, Sonia. A man accused of sexually assaulting a 12-year-old girl in Forestville has been identified. Prince George's police are looking for 20-year-old Isaiah Bogan on multiple sex offenses and second-degree assault. Authorities say last Wednesday, Bogan followed the victim into an elevator in a building on the 2100 block of Brooks Drive. When the girl got off the elevator, Bogan allegedly forced her to the ground, sexually assaulted her, and then ran away. The suspect is described as 5 feet 4 inches tall with dreadlocks and several tattoos, including one across his neck that says blessed. Police say Bogan also has a birthmark or scar across his face. Now, anyone with information on Bogan's whereabouts is asked to call 301-772-4908.
And Prince George's police back at the scene of an Oxon Hill arson murder. Detectives canvassing the Forest Park apartments, looking for information into the death of 21-year-old Atiqua Cherry. Now, investigators say she was killed on Sunday and her apartment was set on fire in an attempt to cover up the crime. Crime Solvers is offering a $25,000 reward for information leading to a conviction. You can call that number at 1-866-411-TIPS. And a guilty plea tonight from Shannon Lee. She's a Cheltenham woman who, along with 2 others, stole 8 houses in Prince George's County. According to the state's attorney's office, Lee would rent out vacant houses using an alias to unsuspecting victims. All of it was done without the property owner's knowledge. The incident, this one going back to 2013, when Lee advertised the home on Craigslist after the actual owner moved out. She'll be sentenced in July.
A historic event took place in Hyattsville this week. The city swore in its first black mayor. Candace Hollingsworth was a representative for Ward 1 and was also council president before she took the oath on Monday. She says some of her goals as mayor will be to promote transparency and participation in government. 2 new council members were also sworn in. Kevin Ward will represent Ward 1 and Thomas Wright will represent Ward 3. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Rochelle Metzger.
And I'm Byron Scott.